Cramming for exams is ruining your entire life. I'm not joking. And once you understand why you cram for exams, you'll finally understand how to stay consistent in working, going to the gym, and studying consistently so you get high goals in each of those aspects. Before that, I want to tell you a bit about myself. I received my GCSE results around 2 years ago. So GCSEs are an exam everyone in the UK does when they're about 16 years old, and you do a variety of different subjects all together in one big block of exams at the beginning of the summer. So leading up to these exams, I would literally sit down and study like 6, maybe 7 hours in a row, trying to like revise and learn for these exams so I can get like the best score in them. And I remember literally sacrificing social gatherings, going to the gym. I remember like my parents saying, "Oh, I shouldn't be going out at this time." I used to do BJJ, so like BJJ is like a martial art. I quit doing that just to revise for these GCSE exams. And when I opened my results on results day, I got quite good in these exams. I got like all 9s pretty much, and I got one 8 and then 1 7. So a 9 is like an A star. So I got all A stars, 1 A, and then like 2 A's, I think. However, I had a friend, Andy. So I've actually done a podcast with this friend I'm talking about. So if you're watching this video, thanks for watching, bro. But I did a podcast with this one guy that I'm talking about, and he, instead of like being locked in for these GCSE exams, he literally just did 1 hour a day. So I was here doing like 6-7 hours, sacrificing my gym journey. I didn't really go see friends. On the other hand, my friend didn't do any of that. He just like randomly studied for like 45 to 60 minutes. I remember sometimes he would study like 20 minutes a day leading up to those exams, and he got exactly the same as me in my exams. Now, on results day, I went up to him and I was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm happy for you, bro." But deep down, like that hurt. Like I had been revising so much for these exams, and then here you have someone who's literally like been doing comparatively like 30 minutes a day, 60 minutes a day, but still got exactly the same results as me. At this time, I was actually quite like angry inside. I'm not gonna lie. Now, fast forward 2 years later, I had booked my driving theory test in the UK. So basically, it's like to prevent stupid people from driving cars. They ask you, "Oh yeah, like which one's green?" what does green mean? And like there's a bunch of multiple choice questions where it's like go, stop, drive off the road. Like basically it's to test your aptitude so you're safe enough to be able to drive a car. However, it's not as easy as that, right? You have to actually revise for these exams. You can't just like go in there and then randomly like click a bunch of questions, because you're gonna fail, obviously. So I booked this like a month and a half in advance. However, I like this was after my A-level exam, so this was after my exam season. I really had nothing else to do, but still I left this like revision block up to literally the day of the exam. So I revised for this exam on the day. So it was booked at like 1 p.m. I stayed up the previous night at like 11 p.m. all the way to like 5 a.m. just revising this. I cleared the exam. I got like 48 out of 50, thankfully. However, that got me thinking, like I'd still left this block of revision up until the last day just before the exam. And now that actually led me to doing more research into cram psychology and what this video is about, basically. What I'd realized is that whenever I had some kind of goal or some kind of thing I was aiming for, I would always go through periods where I would be doing really well in it, and then I would crash for a few days, and then I would do well in it, and then crash for a few days. For example, if I was revising, if I think back to my A-level journey, there will be some days where I would do 5 hours a day of work. However, like immediately after, for the next 3 days, I wouldn't do any work, and then I would do another 3 hours of work, and then not do any work. Even in like the gym, so I care a lot about like gym progress and like going to the gym and being strong and hypertrophy and everything. So there would be some day, like I would have a 5-day training split. However, I would follow it for like 3 days and then crash for the next like 3 days, then go back to being consistent for the next 2 days, and then crash for the next 4 days. Like there's this like up and down cycle that I've always seen myself experiencing. And when I do like one-to-one calls and talk to people, I realize that they go through exactly the same kind of pattern where they're really good for some days and then they crash straight after. You're on your revision plan really, really well, like you're studying hard for like 2-3 days, and then you crash straight after. And if you watch this video through and through and hopefully take notes, you will also get rid of this up and down pattern, and hopefully it's going to be, your progress will be more consistent. So you will follow your gym routine, you'll follow your revision plan consistently. Because like What I realized after this, and I'll say this before I get into exactly how you solve this, is consistency will always be any of this up and down cycle. Even if you do 10 hours of work, you can still be beaten by someone who's just done one hour a day consistently. That's what happened in my GCSEs. Looking back, that's why he was doing so well. Like, this guy was killing it. I'm not gonna lie. He got all nines pretty much, doing 30 to 60 minutes a day. When everyone else around, like, the environment was you stop everything just to focus on your GCSE exams. This guy was just doing 60 minutes a day, enjoying his life, and still got exactly the same results. And in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that. How you flatten this up and down like cycle, and just make consistent progress in whatever goal you have. So, in my opinion, this is one of the most valuable videos I've ever made on this channel, like, at all. So, like, I would highly recommend you really pay attention and make some notes, because I've done a lot of research into this, and hopefully going forward I'll make consistent progress in the things that matter to me the most. So thank you for clicking on this video. Again, watch this video through and through, and click on the subscribe button if you want to see more videos on productivity and fitness. By the way, before I get into this as well, I'm 18 years old right now, and I've had a pretty big transformation. I used to be really fat. However, I went through a massive transformation. I'm now pretty shredded, pretty in shape, and also I was kind of stupid. Like 2-3 years ago, I was in like I wasn't doing well in school. However, I learned productivity. I learned about like academics, how you study properly, how you work consistently, and I got some of the best grades in my GCSE exams, A-level exams, and now I go to one of the top universities in the world. So if you want to achieve a similar transformation in both productivity and fitness, click on the subscribe button down below. Step number 1, pedestrian ideology. I will go through exactly how Cramming Psychology works and how you flatten this curve and make consistent progress in your goals. I want to highlight on a specific type of person that I like to call the pedestrian. This is a bit of a weird way of categorizing people. However, the pedestrian, once you understand who a pedestrian is, you automatically like single them out and then not listen to them, because they'll take away all of your progress. A pedestrian, as I like to call it, is a person whose ego is too high. And even if you try explain them something, so even if you try and show them evidence, they still just do it. They sometimes agree with you, but like sometimes they don't agree with you, but they still just do it their way. This shows up in both productivity and fitness. I'll give you an example, right? I went to a family gathering a couple of weeks ago, right? I was in India about 2 weeks ago, and I went there. Boom! Like I was eating the food there. It was like family friends, and then someone around my age came up to me, and then started saying protein powder was really, really bad for you. So they came up to me and they were like, oh no, like protein powder stays in your body for like years, you shouldn't have this, like it's really bad for health and everything. And then I tried to argue back by showing them the research and saying, no, protein powder, yeah, sure, it's bad, but like you eat gulab jamun, like you eat Indian sweets it's filled with sugar, so you can't say that protein powder is bad if you act in that way. However, even though I showed them the evidence against that, saying that protein powder is actually good for you if you want to build muscle, they still just like believed their own ideology. They kind of agreed with me, saying, oh yeah, like that does make sense how I eat sweets, and protein powder is objectively less healthy, but they still held that belief. That is pedestrian ideology. When someone presents you with facts, even before checking something, even before taking action, you just believe your way just because, and then do the thing you were doing beforehand, even before you got the knowledge. It's like if you go out to someone in the gym and like they say, oh yeah, this feels better, and then they just go back to their way anyway. Like that is literally how some people act, and I can tell you, some people watching this video will agree with the things I'm saying when it comes to work, productivity, not even try it, and then just go back to their own way of doing things, even if they agree with me objectively, like if the things I'm saying make sense about like how you cycle on and off, even without trying anything I say, they'll just go back to their own way of doing things. And I can tell you for a fact that is a bad ideology to have. You need to be open to learning consistently, whether it's in productivity, whether it's in fitness. You don't want to be a pedestrian and just go along with the flow. Someone close to me said that, and I was like, damn, like that's such a good way of describing some people. Like they just go along with the flow for no reason, and they go along with the flow of things. So what I'm thinking about is like a pedestrian kind of goes along with the crowd, and then is confused why they're there, why they've reached there. For example, I'll tell you what, like, the times I've acted like a pedestrian was when I was doing my A-level exams, right? I had been researching stuff on productivity, and the overwhelmingly large evidence was that if you do a smaller amount of hours more consistently, but it's predictable, you'll make way more progress than if you do a lot of hours, but it's not like consistent. However, I agreed with the first point, which is doing a lower amount of hours more consistently makes it more sustainable, and then you make more progress on that. I agreed with that, but still went on to my own way. Like, I had that pedestrian ideology like deep inside of me, and now I'm kind of trying to stray away from that. And even like it's hard for you to get out of that mindset of actually going and taking action. But once you get out of that ideology of reading the information or like watching this video, agreeing with me, and then just doing what you want, once you get out of that and you actually start taking action, that's where you experience the biggest rate of growth. Before I go into the first step, again, I know I've rambled on about this for too long. I really want to drill this in, that you don't want to be a pedestrian. Like, going forward on this channel, I will be calling out all pedestrians, because I don't want people to just watch my videos and then not take action, agree with me and then not take action. Like, try some of the stuff that I say in this video, because it will help you, because I've helped people with this. Try some of it, try implementing it, and if it doesn't work, fair enough, you don't have to agree with me, but at least try some of these things. Like, if you agree with me, try them, right? Don't be a pedestrian where you watch this video, agree with me, and then do nothing, right? Actually take action. Don't just go along with the flow of things and just do what you want day to day without taking action. Going on to the second step, why cramming feels good. The main reason cramming for an exam, so studying a lot of hours and then like crashing after, feels really good, is because of your ego. I'll tell you a little story. So when I was doing my revision plan for my GCSE exams, I was speaking to my cousin a couple of months before that, and he was telling me for the Indian exams that he was studying like 10 to 11 hours every single day to revise for these exams. Now, influenced by that, I didn't want to just do 2 hours of revision. I wanted to do as much as possible so I can tell other people that I'm doing that amount of revision. So I put my revision plan as 5 hours a day. That was not good, because my skill level at that time was not compatible with 5 hours a day. I couldn't physically do 5 hours of revision every single day. However, just because of my ego, I kind of felt the natural push to put that as my revision plan. And this is what I think a lot of people who cram and then crash have. The primary reason why you cycle on and off, why you do so well and then go back, crash heavily, is because whatever plan you have, whatever revision plan you have, whatever gym plan you have, is way too unsustainable for who you are right now. If you are able to study 5 hours a day, every single day, you would be doing that without a revision plan. Like, your level, think of it as like a video game. Your level right now is below that. And if you try and jump past your level, you can't stay there for long. You'll just crash back. Another example of this is I tried doing cutting phase a couple of 2 months ago. However, when I started, I put my calorics the amount of calories I eat way too low for how much I could sustain. So I would hit my calorie goal for 2 days and then snap right back to binge eating the third day or the fourth day. And what I realized is, if I'm just slightly above my skill level, if I just have a slight calorics decrease, that is way more sustainable than doing anything way too extreme. Because I realized that success, achieving goals, doesn't come from extreme daily routines. It just comes from doing something slightly above your skill level right now, but that compounds over time. I know this may sound really, really vague, but trust me, have this ideology. Whatever you do right now, whatever revision plan you have set, whatever goal you have, it should be slightly above your skill level and shouldn't be too extreme. I know that social media and Reddit forum pages and your parents may tell you that you have to be studying 4 hours, 5 hours a day for your exams at the end of the year, or if you're going to the gym, people you may be thinking that to build a good physique you need to go 6 times a week every single week. However, that is way past your skill level right now, and what you need to do to minimize your ups and downs in this your progress is to kind of lower your ego and accept that you can't do 6 hours of revision every single day. You actually just have to do 90 minutes every day consistently, and then build like progressively overload over time. There's like level 0, which is if you're like set 7 maths and you don't really care about your exams, you don't really care about working hard, productivity, you're kind of fat, right? You don't care about fitness. That's level 0, right? Level 1 is having the goal of getting fit, getting into the gym, achieving good grades, being really productive, but setting your like having a big ego and then setting your daily routine way too high. So that's what I did at first. I like set like a 6-hour revision day every day, and then like put on my timetable that I would go to the gym 6 times a week every single week. However, that was way above my skill level, so I just crashed straight after and never made progress. I've been going to the gym for like a year and a half, and fair enough, I do have like a alright physique, but people like surpassed me. People made so much progress because they understood that their skill level wasn't as high like right now. So that's level 1, setting like a really big daily routine but not achieving it. Level 2 now is lowering your ego and then lowering your daily routine to your skill level right now, and then progressively overloading over time. So now you understand that like setting such a big revision schedule, or setting a goal like 5 hours every day of work, is probably unrealistic right now. However, if you lower your ego and say something like, I want to do 90 minutes of revision, and then after the 90 minutes of revision, once you do that consistently every single day, and the way you track that is through a habit tracker. Check out my other video. I've made a video on like how you make a habit tracker elsewhere on my channel. However, once you set a habit tracker and you do 90 minutes of revision or work every single day, then you can do 2 hours of work every day, and then you can do 2.5 hours, and then you can do 3 hours. Can you see how like we're incrementally increasing the amount of work you do every day, so it doesn't even feel that hard? Like your work schedule shouldn't feel like grinding. It should actually just feel mildly discomfortable, like day to day. And then like if it's mildly discomfortable, it's not like as hard, so you won't crash so heavily. However, if it is like really hard, then you're way more likely to crash. This is also the reason why like even the people who do try lock in for exams and study for like 6 hours, 7 hours every day, they can't sustain it for over the summer. But what I'm trying to build on this channel is a consistent, predictable, deep work routine. If you watch my videos, I want you to get up, like, this is a side tangent, but I want you to get up in the morning, work consistently for like 2 to 3 hours every day without you even really thinking about it. Like, imagine how sick that would be. You wake up automatically, work for like 2 to 3 hours, and it doesn't even feel hard. It kind of feels fun. Like, whilst other people around you are trying to lock in for exams, they're trying really hard to study 6 hours a day. You beat everyone. Like, you make so much more progress, and it doesn't even feel hard. It doesn't even feel like you're working. This is what we're aiming for, and the way you do that is by lowering your ego and setting a smaller daily routine, like smaller work hours right now, but then we can increase it in the future. I know I've rambled a lot about cramming and everything, but hopefully now you understand why setting such a high daily routine, like 6 hours, 7 hours a day, is bad for you, and why you should lower that right now. And why that does feel good, because it's like kind of a boost to your ego if you can go up to people and tell them you revise for 6 hours a day. The reason why like cramming feels so good and why people have these ups and downs is by peer and family pressure. See, when I was doing my exams, there was like a societal pressure and also like a parental pressure for me to revise a lot of hours, like way more than what was necessary. Because okay, this may be like an Indian or Asian thing, but in our communities, like, we have people back home revising for like 10, 11 hours a day. But in reality, like, if you increase your work hours, it actually makes you prioritize the wrong things. So if you have like a 10 hours a day, not only is it like unsustainable and you crash straight after, but also you're automatically, like, it's human nature for you to not prioritize the things that matter. So, for example, when I didn't know this, when I was a pedestrian and I didn't understand the working lower amount of hours will actually give you more progress. Basically, like, I wanted to revise for maths, right? So I said that I was going to revise 10 hours a day for like a week during the half term. So I woke up one morning at like 6 o'clock, started working. I started doing a past paper, and then halfway through the past paper, like 9 hours, I had 9 hours of revision left. I kind of just moved off the past paper and started reading my maths notes. And then I started watching maths videos. And then I started like doing something random, like reading my textbook. And then I scrolled on Reddit for a bit. Then I went like and had dinner because like I still had 6 hours left. At the end of the 10-hour schedule, I had only gone through one past paper. However, like if I had just lowered my like work hours and concentrated on the essential items, on the essential things that would actually increase my maths grade, like past papers, right? Like learning past papers, like going through TL maths videos intentionally, I would have gone through probably more maths volume than if I would study 10 hours a day. However, the peer pressure and like the parental pressure of like revising or being locked in at this period of time caused me to have that in my schedule. Like it feels scary, like lowering your work hours, because everyone else is gonna like think bad of you. Like you go to school or you go to university during exam season, people saying that they're trying to work like 11 hours a day. And if you have like a lower work schedule, you're probably gonna feel that parental pressure. But trust me, this is the way forward. If I haven't drilled this in enough already in this video, the way you stop having like these ups and downs is by setting your work hours low, setting your gym hours low, and then progressively overloading over time. Like going to the gym, when you first like bench press, you can only do the bar. But imagine you say, no, I want to do 100 kg. I want to do like 100 kg reps. Like I want to rep 100 kg. If someone comes and puts like 100 kg on, fair enough, you can get it up a bit. But you can't do that for reps, and it's pointless because you won't grow, right? The way you get to 100 kg reps, the way you get to like doing 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day consistently, isn't by doing it right now, because you can't do that sustainably every single day. The way you do it is by setting up predictable work hours that are low, like that lower your ego. Like you have to lower your ego so much. There'll be parental pressure. There'll be like societal pressure you have to fight against. Only have like 90 minutes of work every single day. I don't care what anyone says. I've seen people in the comment section, like pedestrians in the comment section, saying, "Oh no, like don't take what this guy says like actionably. Apparently, I'm speaking in metaphors for some reason." No, I've been there. Lower your work hours. Do that consistently every single day. Track that, and then incrementally increase those work hours. Do you understand? So we're not saying that studying 6 hours a day is bad. I'm just saying that no one I know does that consistently at all. And also, like, a side tangent, you could make, like, you don't need to study 6 hours a day. I've gone into productivity books and like I've read productivity stuff a lot in the past, and realistically, to achieve whatever you want intellectually, like work wise, you need about 4 hours a day maximum. You can build a multi-million $1 corporation. You can become rich, multi-millionaire, by doing 4 hours a day every single day consistently. If you don't believe me, go watch Iman Gadzi or Alex Hormozi or Charlie Morgan. Go watch these people. You can literally become a millionaire by doing 4 hours of deep work every single day. So if you think that trying to get like a 9 in GCSE maths or trying to get like a grade at university requires 6 hours a day, you're greatly wrong, because you're prioritizing the wrong thing. You instead have to lower your work hours to something that's way below your ego. Do that consistently, and then incrementally increase your work hours so you don't burn out. I know this video has been like really rambly, but I promise you that the like engraving this in your mindset, that it's like you have to lower your ego when it comes to achieving your goals, whether it's going to the gym. You probably can't do 6 times a week consistently. You have to do it 2 times a week, then go up to 3 times a week, then 4 times a week, then 5 times a week. So then you can go 6 times a week consistently, so it doesn't really feel like you're locking in. When I started like my journey of improving my grades and improving my like gym journey, I had always struggled with consistency. I would always it would always be really good, and then I would crash, and then it would be really good and then crash. And I can't put it into words how much like gratitude I have, or how much like how happy I am that I finally figured out the reason I've been going through those cycles is because my work hours was just too high. I'm meant to like lower it and do that consistently, and then incrementally increase that. So again, like if you want some actionable steps, I know I've rambled on for way too long. Right now, you probably have a fitness goal and you have an academic goal. Let's say you're in GCSEs or A levels. Your goals should be quite high. If not, go watch my mindset videos. But your goals should be like reasonably unrealistic. So probably all 9 should be your goals. or like all A stars or like the top university. So set that as your goal, and then set like a fitness goal. For example, cut down to 10% body fat or bulk up like 10 kg. Have like a productivity goal and a fitness goal. That's what I would recommend personally. So once you have that set in stone, you want to set up like a daily routine kind of thing. Now this should be low. Like this should be lower than your ego. In my opinion, if your goal is all nines at GCSEs, 90 minutes of work in the morning every day. That's what I recommend. A consistent, predictable work hour. Like if you have predictable work hours you do every single day, that is way better than doing more hours like scattered around the day, because there's been scientific research into this, but you're also more likely to stay consistent with that. So having 90 minutes of work in the morning, like in the morning, is also like the quality of your work is valued more. So like 1 hour of work in the morning is like better than later on in the day. I'm not going to go into that, but it just is, right? So have 90 minutes of work, deep work, like work that will like actually help you in your GCSEs or A levels or whatever you're going for in the morning. And it should be the highest ROI work. So like the past papers, learning should be here. Like you shouldn't be doing random stuff like reading books or like reading textbooks or like scrolling Reddit in this 90 minutes section in the morning. You do 90 minutes of that, and then have like a fitness goal straight after. Because I think if you're jacked and then you're academic, you're better than like most people, right? So once you have the 90 minutes of work in the morning, and then the fitness thing, you have like a habit tracker, and then track that every single day. And then once the 90 minutes feels comfortable, like you're comfortable in doing that every single day, then you can move it up to 2 hours, and then you can move up to like 2.5 hours. In my opinion, if you're doing stuff like GCSEs or A levels, you shouldn't move it. Like I think 2 hours of work in the morning is the absolute max you need to do. But if you think you need more than that, if you have higher goals than all A stars, if you want to get 100% in every single A level paper, then fair enough, you can move it up a bit. But in my opinion, you don't really need more than that. You don't need more than 2 hours a day in either GCSEs or A level. Even if you're taking like 5, 6, 7 A levels, you should still keep it at 2 hours every single day. Even in university, 2 hours every single day consistently will compound over time. So, but I've rambled on so much in this video. But in this video, you should probably understand, like you should hopefully understand now, that cramming or the process of setting your like work hours way too high is bad for you and pedestrian think. Most people think that like to achieve a big goal, you need to have a massive daily routine schedule. But again, most people don't get all nines, or most people don't get like successful. The biggest progress, the big success doesn't come from a massive daily routine. It comes from a lower amount of work hours that's compounded over time, because the compound effect is way more powerful than like doing a lot of hours right now, but that's that being unsustainable. So by having a low amount of work hours, you'll achieve more success in the future. That's how you solve cramming psychology. That's how you solve the cyclical nature of your daily patterns, where you do well some days and then you crash some days. The way you get rid of that is by doing the most important work for lower amount of time every single day consistently, rather than having like a higher amount of work hours. This is the same in gym and fitness. If you feel like you're not gaining weight, if you feel like you're not losing weight right now, it's because your fitness plan right now is way too high for you right now. Lower that, focus on the things that matter in the gym, and then do that over time consistently, and you'll see more results in that. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you've made notes on this video. This is, I think, in my opinion, is the biggest mindset shift I've had in my life. Basically, this is like groundbreaking for me. So I would personally recommend you going back through this video every few months, and then rewatching the things I say in this video. Click on the subscribe button down below. Thank you for watching this video, and share this to someone who crams too much. Thank you.